Welcome to AfyaFix. We are delighted that you're here with us. And I'm your host, Gladys Ombongi, a consultant nutritionist from Lishe Leo. Today we want to talk about mental health and nutrition, how they have an interplay, how each other affects the next. And to help me unravel this story is Amy Kurgat. Amy is a clinical psychologist. She works at the Garden Hospital and the Better Living Hospital, and she's also a lecturer at Amani Counseling Center. We're so glad to have you here, Amy.
Thank you, Gladys.
And we know you're going to help us. You know, this is a story we hear so many times about mental health.
Thank you.
And many people don't know where to start.
Yeah.
Could you start by helping us in a simple way? What is mental health?
Okay. Thank you so much, Gladys. Mental health is rather broad in trying to fragment and break it down into what we would discuss about here. But to just make it simpler is mental health is just all about how you think, how you feel, and then how you behave, but in a way that helps you to adopt well in your day-to-day activities. So we are looking at it in terms of, are your thoughts helping you to function well? Is your mood or your feelings helping you function in a productive way? Are you also adopting behaviors that help you adjust well in society? Yes.
So you said three things: how I feel, how I think,
Yes.
and how I behave.
Oh, yes.
Easy.
Yeah.
How you feel, how you think, and how you behave. That is mental health.
Well,
It's so
what makes-
easy, just like that.
Yeah.
And is this a problem of how we feel, how we think, and how we behave?
Yeah, it can. It can be a problem. The key is actually that your feelings, your thoughts, your behaviors should help you adopt. Problems come when the same feelings, behaviors, and thoughts do not help you adjust well in society, and then you're not able to do the day-to-day activities. So that is now where we start saying you're starting to function in a way that is dysfunctional. So that if you are going to work, you're not able to optimize or to give your best at your place of work. If you are a student, then it means you may also not be able to perform at your best as a student. If you are a parent also, it also means you may not be able to have what it takes to raise your children in the way that they ought to. So there is that bit of functioning now that, if not looked into well, affects your day-to-day living, and that is now where mental health issues come into play.
So the malfunction is what becomes a challenge.
Yes, that becomes a challenge.
When people are not able to just process how they're feeling, how they're thinking, and how they want to behave.
They could also be processing it, Gladys,
but in a certain way.
But in a way that is not helping them to adapt well.
For sure.
Yes.
Is this something that we find so common in particularly this time where we are right in a pandemic?
Yes.
How is it right now?
Now, when you bring the the bit of COVID into the picture, COVID has actually brought in many other dynamics, especially into the mental health, so that the key things that we now struggle with as mental health practitioners is the anxiety that underlies this COVID.
Yes.
We keep hearing news, and the key bit is this is a disease that has never been before. So there is a lot of mystery surrounding the
COVID-19
disease itself that is actually creating a lot of anxiety, both those in the medical field, in the mental health, and then the general population. Yeah. And then for those who've already contracted it, they now start struggling with issues to do with stigma, discrimination, and then the fear of, I do not want to be known that I've been diagnosed and
with
I
COVID.
have it. Yes.
Yes, so you keep secret.
Yes, so, and that is not a secret because it eats you at the core. You become tense, you become anxious, and then you're not even able to go out and mingle with people or to carry out your
Normal
day
duties.
to day duties. Yes, there's always that fear that holds you back, and you sometimes can be crippled by that fear. Yes.
So I hear one thing that you're saying clearly, that COVID-19, the pandemic we are right now,
Yes.
what is affecting many people is the anxiety,
Oh, yes.
the worry about tomorrow,
Yeah.
or the outcome of this mysterious disease that we don't know how it's going to turn
Oh,
out.
yeah.
And that has actually increased the kind of patients you're seeing.
Yes.
The numbers, I'm sure, have gone really
Oh yeah,
high.
they come. And then to just bring it even more closer home, the vaccine. Now they mixed
More confusion.
with the
Yes.
vaccine, whether it's going to work or not work. And then the many news or information that we hear that also accompany the vaccine. So that actually heightens the anxiety that has already been there. Yes.
I'm sure there are other conditions apart from the anxiety that is a major part of mental health that is affecting families, Kenyans, anybody watching from different parts of the world. What is the general view like, the geographic pattern of mental health diseases?
Now, when we look at also mental health, Gladys, I would want to let you know that mental health is quite broad.
Wide.
So I'll just be trying to break it down into a practical, so that I am able to give practical examples. Now, when the COVID thing came into the picture, there was a lot of restrictions of movements, and a lot of that has been, please stay safe and stay at home. So the trend now that we are noticing is there is now a lot of gender violence coming in. Remember, that is a very key mental concern. So we are actually now starting to get a lot of gender-based violence cases. And with that, you now also have people who are also going very difficult times, traumatic situations where they are battered, they are beaten, they go through a lot of psychological and emotional pains, and then of course the physical pains. Yes, and all that really also impacts negatively on their mental well-being.
So we are saying that because of this particular pandemic that we are in, there are all these accompanying side effects, so to speak, loosely, from a layman's language. And what are some of the underlying issues that really make people to have wrong thoughts, wrong actions, and even feelings about themselves?
That is also another very key question, Gladys. And if I was to answer also, it is broad. It is so wide. It is so wide. Factors like childhood trauma, things that happened in your past. It would also be things that are also in the present that sometimes you look at as in form of triggers. What is happening to you currently that is making you or predisposing you to mental issues at this level. So the key is actually the key that I would say is actually very wide, very wide.
So you wouldn't know, and that's why it always makes sense to actually seek help.
Oh yes.
Do we like to seek help?
That is an interesting question, Gladys, especially when it comes to mental health.
Yes. Who says they are sick in their head?
Yes, in fact, rightly put it, yes. Who would even want to admit that they are sick? Yeah. So for a long, long time, actually, mental issues are things that have been shrouded a lot under myths. So that for those who already are aware of the importance of mental health, they would quickly embrace mental health services. And mental health services would range from the services of a psychiatrist, the services of a psychologist like me, the services of a counselor. And sometimes you also encourage people to also find spiritual help from their pastors, and also get support from the immediate family members, and if not immediate, also the help of friends, and then help of also colleagues. Yes. But majority of the people would rather hide. And the reason why they hide issues that relate to mental health is, first of all, they do not or cannot stand the criticism.
It's
Yes.
stigmatizing.
Because immediately after that, there is also discrimination.
And labeling.
Yes, and then of course labeling, all that is all
Yeah.
about to do with stigma. So majority of people actually suffer in silence. People suffer in silence, and that is why we go out there, psychologists, and to just create awareness, telling people to be okay, to just accept that it is okay to be to have the disturbances that you're going through, but then let it not also hold you down from finding help. Help is always there. So we try to help them not to be okay with seeking help. No. Let them not be okay. No, it is okay to have the mental problem, but it is not okay to sit with that problem.
Yeah, and that it's
Yes.
normal.
It
You're
is-
almost saying
yes.
it's normal to be sick,
Yes,
but it's not okay to hide.
to hide it.
You can come out and you
Yes,
can be helped.
yeah. And remember, this is also a field where we do not judge.
Yes.
This is also a field where we uphold a lot of confidentiality. The key pillars really for every person in mental health is confidentiality.
Yes.
We adhere to that so much, and then we also empathize a lot with our patients, because from our end we know that mental problems are real. They are real, and they can actually incapacitate somebody and actually, destabilize them, and they are not able to give their best. Yeah.
I like what you're saying, that it's one field that nobody judges you.
Yeah.
And we like to accept and sympathize with the person who's seeking
empathize.
help.
We empathize, just getting into their shoes and just having a feel of how
They
it
are
is for
going
them, how
through.
that world is for them. Yeah, and then bringing help that they need.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there any role that nutrition plays in the management of somebody who is seeking any mental health services?
Oh yes, Gladys. From my own experience,
Yes.
there are actually two key mental health concerns, and especially neurodevelopmental conditions that affect children. I'm sure autism is not a new condition for
Yes, many
the people. Audience and many people who are listening. ADHD is also not a new condition for those who've had.
Maybe you can say it in full.
Yes, now for autism, it just remains as autism. For ADHD, this is attention deficiency hyperactive disorder. So nutrition actually plays a very, very key part when it comes to the management of those two conditions, so that parents who are having children who have those two medical conditions have always been encouraged to always check on their children's diet, so that there are foods that they would be encouraged to feed their children with, and there are also those that they will be discouraged from using. So food is actually very key when it comes to mental health. Another mental health condition also that food also comes in, and very, very important, is the depression and anxiety. And remember, depression and anxiety are actually, can I just say, if I was to just do a bit of research,
Yes.
in fact, in a sample of a few people as close as 20,
Yes.
I would get almost 75 to 80% of those 20 having those two conditions. So that anxiety and depression are the two very common mental health conditions that people in the normal population struggle
Experience.
with. Yes, and diet is also very key when it comes to the management of those two. Yes, and then remember also, Gladys, even when you look at the basic human needs,
Yes.
especially looking at the pyramid of needs, just at the base
Yes.
of the pyramid, food is key.
Yes, it's right there.
Food is right there as a basic need. So whether we talk mental health or we do not talk mental health, the key is food is a basic human need that it has to be met first before now you talk of other needs. Yes.
So you have said clearly that we cannot escape addressing food
Yes.
as a basic need,
Yeah.
and besides, it does play a major role in the management of the 4 conditions: anxiety, depression,
Yeah.
autism and
Yes.
ADHD.
Oh, yes.
You know, attention deficiency.
Yeah.
Hyperactive disorder.
Yes.
We will be right back, and when we come back, we are going to go deeper into the numbers. How does this look like in this country, and where can you start if you need to seek help? So don't go away.
Children love speaking a lot is play.
Yes.
Yeah, so if your child is not integrating themselves into play, and they choose to withdraw or sit in a corner somewhere and not really be playful, those 4 parents could be indicators that you can look at. And then now when we come to the much older child, and this now is an adolescent, when you notice a lot of banging and snapping and kicking things, yes, that would actually tell you that that child is communicating something to you. So that majority of teenagers would withdraw, and mostly they'll spend a lot of time in their bedrooms, and sometimes they do not want anyone to talk to
them.
And then naturally, if you also know who your child is, it would not be hard for you to start noticing changes in them. Another thing, again, also with older children who've already known how to take care of their own hygiene. Yes, if a child goes for too long without bathing, simple hygiene measures like brushing teeth, combing their hair, those actually could also be indicators that this child needs attention. And then now for the parent. Because by the time you're old enough, you definitely would be aware that there's something that is not right with you. So that if you have any form of distress, any form of some subjective feelings that you're having, that you feel this is not me, either you're feeling sad, you're feeling anxious, you just feel you're not performing as you should, as usual. And of course, you'll know with your energy levels. You can also tell with your eating habits. You can also tell with your sleep patterns. And then for those people who are also sexually active, you'll also notice your sexual life is also affected, so that you tend to withdraw away from intimacy. Yes. So those are just a few.
Wow, you've said many things.
Yes.
And I'm just listening, and I just want to do a quick follow-up.
Yeah.
Where you've said, like, for children, if they seem to withdraw from play.
Yeah.
What about if they want to play forever? Excess play.
Now, with excess play, unless your child doesn't have ADHD, I think every parent's joy is we want our children to always be vibrant and out there playing.
So that should not be a problem.
Yes, that should not be a problem.
Okay,
Yeah.
and also you mentioned something about sleep disturbances. Is this a little sleep and too much sleep? What exactly do you mean?
In fact, when we talk about sleep disturbance, everybody knows how their normal sleep pattern is like, so that when you now start drifting to the extremes, and to the extremes means excessive sleep or completely no sleep. Yeah. So when we talk of excessive sleep, we are actually looking at something between 16 to 18 hours of sleeping. Gladys, if you have a 24-hour time and you're doing 18 on sleeping alone, then simple mathematics tells you have how many to
very few,
very
6,
little.
5,
yes.
very few.
Yeah. And then little sleep would actually be talking of just 2 hours. Remember, in a night that is about 8 hours, you only do 1 or 2 hours. Yeah, and then the rest of the 6 hours you're awake, we get concerned.
You get concerned.
We get concerned.
And you mentioned something about eating disturbed, maybe the kind of eating. What does that mean?
Now, when your eating is becoming a problem, is either you're losing appetite, and if you are not losing appetite, now appetite means you actually go for days.
Yes.
Actually,
you're not hungry.
You don't even have that desire to eat. The food would be there, but that desire that makes you want to eat is what is now stopping you from eating. Yeah, so that is normally what we would assess as low appetite, yes, or no appetite at all. And then on the other extreme, again, when you start realizing you're craving for some particular foods,
Yes, and
that
overdoing
now
it.
again
Yeah.
becomes another
Issue.
red flag.
Uh-huh.
And we are actually looking at these two particular foods, sugary and fatty foods.
Of course.
Yes, yes. That already is speaking volumes. Yes, it's actually indicating there could be something wrong.
Something wrong.
Yeah.
Wow. Now you know, sugary foods and fatty foods could be an indicator.
Yeah.
Either too much or too little of food again
Oh, yeah.
should be a concern to you. And I'm thinking about across the various age groups, maybe children, young people, and the older people. What sort of mental health issues are run across these various groups?
And just as I told you, Gladys, mental health is very,
I
very
know it's
broad.
really wide.
It's quite broad. I may not actually pinpoint which particular mental issues are there, but the things that could easily predispose these different age brackets to the different mental conditions. Children who are neglected, and when I talk about negligence, I'm talking about, I don't know if you've heard of stories where a child was locked up in the night by a parent, and
Because she
perhaps
went-
they went out to do whatever they know best. And such children, we would say this is a child that is actually
Neglected.
a neglected child. And a child has their basic needs that need to be met. A child needs to be protected. A child needs to be fed. A child needs to be taken care of because they are still dependent on you.
Yes.
They are completely dependent on you, so that if you are not there to give that child their physical needs, like food, if you're not there to give your child their emotional needs, like support, affirming them, embracing them, loving them, if you're also not there to take care of this child's also health needs, they are sick and they need to be taken to hospital. So if a child is maltreated for whatever reason, then you actually predispose that child to many disadvantages, and more so when it now comes to mental health, they become easy prey for mental health conditions.
Yes.
Yeah.
So children who are suffering from, lack of that care.
Yes, that care.
The presence of
Yes.
whoever the caregivers, whether it's parents or
Yeah.
grandparents or whoever,
Yeah.
that would be a signal.
Yes,
What
and
ab-
not only care alone.
and
Gladys, it would also be a very. They are also living under very strict conditions.
Yes.
We have this very strict authoritarian parent who exerts a lot of control into the life of this child, and so that forever this child feels pressured. Yeah, they are never given room to really be themselves, to even express themselves or even speak out. Yeah. So sometimes also the kind of parenting that this child would go through,
would choke them.
yes, would actually, rightly put it, choke them.
And what about younger people, young adults, teenagers,
Now-
past teenagehood?
Yes. Now, for young adults now, and I'm looking at anything between middle to early to middle adult life. So, adolescence. So I'm talking about children who are in
Maybe from about 16
upper primary,
all the way.
and then all the way to around Form 3, Form 4 there.
All right. High school.
Or can we just say they are yet to hit their 18th birthday?
All right.
These are children also, we are now starting to teach them to also become independent, but still with a lot of parental monitoring.
Yes.
So what parents sometimes do is they look at these
Young
tall,
people.
huge teenager who's only 16 or 15 years old, and they tend to think they're already old. No, they still need parental monitoring.
And guidance.
Yes, and also guidance. Because if left on their own also, they are also likely to be caught up with peer pressure. And then there's a lot of media also surrounding these children, a lot of influence from the social media. And sometimes they also get to learn things that do not help them adjust well in society. Yes.
That's for that middle group. What about the older people?
Yes, now for the older people, remember life is also interesting, Gladys.
Yes.
You start off when you're depending on others, and then you gain a level
we
of
now depend on
dependence.
you.
And then as you grow older, now you tend now to go back also to that stage where now you also need to be taken care of
Yes.
and to need to be supported. So older people in society would also go through abuse. They would also go through negligence.
Yes.
Some are even abandoned by their children. And remember, they are also not at that stage where they are still energetic enough to still cater and fend for themselves. And so when they are neglected also, they are also equally human and they feel it. And that also would also predispose them to many other conditions like anxiety or
Yes.
depression. And then remember also there is the natural wear and tear
Yes, of
of
the years.
the ears and then also of the body. And so they also start developing other complications like memory loss, you know, they cannot remember where they put their things. Sometimes they get lost and they just need somebody to walk them back home. So the natural wear and tear also would also affect them. And if there's really nobody to take good care of them, then they also become easy prey for mental problems. Yes.
You said about the older people in need of help, maybe
Yes.
because of the memory loss, for example. There are also other aspects that we mentioned earlier of where diet plays a major role. And I'm saying in particular, like an older person who doesn't know what to do and where to turn, what kind of plan or basic ABCs quickly you would actually tell them to? What is it that they can do at home to improve just their mental well-being?
So if I am talking to an older person, I want to imagine this is somebody who is still in their 60s,
Yes.
perhaps 70s, yes, they may, or even 80s. They may not be able to do some vigorous activities that they could, but I would encourage them that exercise is a key mental booster, and I'm not telling them to hit the gym and,
and work
do
out
the
for 2
marathons.
hours.
No.
Yeah.
For older people, a simple bicycle ride, cycling is good, brisk
Digging.
walks is good, just taking walks.
Yeah, walks are good for
Yes,
them.
and then for those who also live in the countryside, the nature of the work there kind of always keeps them on toes, so they may really not have a lot of challenges with physical activity because they do a lot of walking.
There's work.
There's
There's
a lot of walking around.
And work as well.
Yeah. And then I would also encourage them to take adequate rests. Adequate rest not necessarily mean sleeping.
Yes.
Sleep is also another key thing, but rests are very, very key. Little breaks in between
Your work.
the day or even between work is very key for them. And then, of course, now adequate sleep. Now when the night comes, adequate sleep. And especially if they can make it a routine. A routine simply means if you can tailor-make your sleep in a way that you sleep more or less at the same time
Yes.
and wake up more or less at the same time. Yeah, so that you avoid this kind of weekend kind of sleeping where I have nothing to do over the weekend.
And you
then
sleep through.
You sleep through to the following day,
Yes.
perhaps even noon of the following day.
Catching up lost sleep.
Yeah.
So I've had something like routine.
Oh, yes.
So you need that constant bedtime,
Yeah.
constant waking time, whether Saturday or Sunday,
Yes.
wake up at the same time.
Yeah.
Then I've also had sleep is important, and they need rest,
Yeah.
and they also need adequate work in terms of exercise. They need to move their bodies. And I'm sure there's something you'd like to give us as a parting shot to somebody at home What is it that you'd like to tell us, just as your last message about mental health issues and diet?
Thank you so much, Gladys. Since I was here to talk about mental health and more so how it is related to or related with diet, I would say that food is key. Food is key for the general well-being of every other person, and it impacts very positively on our mental well-being, so that we just go to the basics. From the word go, we've always been told to eat a balanced diet, and this is a diet that has carbohydrates in it, a diet that has proteins in it, and then a diet that have vegetables or minerals, vitamins in it. Yeah, it has a very, very positive influence on our mental being. Yes.
So you're encouraging them to eat a balanced diet?
I encourage them to eat well, eat a balanced diet.
It would help you keep a bit of these mental health issues out of the way. All right. Thank you so much, Emmy. Thank you so much for your time. If somebody fails to do this, is there something that will happen to them if they fail to seek your help, they fail to do the diet you've said, they exercise, they sleep? What would happen to somebody who just decides, okay, I'm happy the way I am, I really don't need help? What do you have to tell them?
I would always say, Gladys, that I think somebody wise is somebody who listens.
Yes.
And somebody wise is somebody who reviews what they believe in, and sometimes even put it to test. Yeah. So we have a lot of information out there. This is also part of information that we are giving out to people to utilize. So I would encourage people that if you listen to something that you think is very beneficial to you, please go and use it to build yourself. Because we don't shove down your throat information.
Yes.
We give it to you because we care. We give it because of the care that we have. And then we know that there are better ways of enhancing our mental health. And mine is just to urge you who are perhaps struggling with information that you're getting out there. The key for me would be, it is better to see the source of the information itself, other than just rubbishing it. Yes.
So put it to the test.
Yes, you can put it to test. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Emmy. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate your being here. And viewer at home, you have heard it. Put it to the test. Listen, learn, practice. And that is the surest way to want to keep away some of these mental health issues. And of course, seek the help of professionals when you need to know where to start. This discussion will not end if you are not going to talk to us. So we are asking you to go to our Twitter handle at Hope_Kenya, ask us questions. Also check on our YouTube channel, Hope Channel Kenya, and our Facebook page as well. And the numbers displayed on your screen are for you to talk to us, call, ask, and even be part of this show if that is of interest to you. We'll be right back because we are now going into the kitchen, and there we're going to prepare some delicious food. So stay tuned. We are right in the kitchen and we are about to start our usual preparations. You have been with us for a few weeks now and you know we love to cook and make it practical. Thank you, Crystal, for finding time again to be here. Crystal is a cooking or food enthusiast, if you like, and today she's going to help us make some soup. I'm your host, Gladys Ombongi from Lishe Leo, and we're here to just make it happen. We're talking about nutrition and mental health. What are some of the foods that we can add to our plate to just make sure we keep our mind in the right place? So please go on, Crystal.
So welcome. Today we're going to be making some mushroom soup. So yes, we're going to be using ingredients such as mushrooms, obviously, leek,
yes,
onion, the white onion, ginger powder, some salt, some garlic, and some coconut milk when we'll be blending. So we'll begin by lighting the stove.
All right.
Okay. So as the pan is heating up, so we'll just give the pan some time to get hot. So we'll be using mushrooms. Mushrooms are very beneficial for the brain because they have B vitamins, which help to improve our brain function, and that's what we have been talking about today.
Yes, I know folate is also something we need, and folate is really
A B vitamin.
yeah.
So
You can easily or loosely actually classify it as such because that helps in the way you respond. You know, it's very useful in your moods, up
Exactly.
and down. You know, not being able to handle the heat of the day. You know, the stress, the present heat, that which happened yesterday, depression, and what would happen tomorrow, anxiety, and worrying too much or having an excess of that. So that's good to know that they have the B vitamins.
so will pass me the mushrooms.
So we're not putting oil? We're
No,
starting with the
not yet.
mushroom?
Yes, we started.
All right, okay.
So
How much is this?
These are 2.5 cups of button mushrooms. So
Button
there are
mushroom.
different kinds of mushrooms. The kind that we are using here is called the button mushrooms. And then we also have the oyster mushrooms,
I have some here.
the
I
shiitake
saw
mushrooms,
one, yeah.
the shiitake mushrooms. There are many different kinds of mushrooms that you can use, but for this show we'll be using the button mushroom.
Okay. So these ones, where do we source them from? You know, it's always good to know where to find these things.
In your local market, especially if it's a big one, like a wholesale one, you'll probably find it.
Yes.
Okay, so pass me a spoon,
You need
a measuring spoon, and the milk.
a measuring spoon. There you go.
And another normal spoon,
And a regular spoon.
and some of the
So-
milk.
And some of the
Milk.
Ah, all right, sorry. So this is what you meant.
So I'm just going to use a little of this.
So this is just coconut milk that you just squeezed out.
Exactly.
How
yeah.
many coconuts did you use?
This is 1 coconut.
Okay. But you added some water, or all that is from the coconut?
No, we added some water. I'll add 1 tablespoon of that just to...
So this one that you added water, can you get just the pure coconut milk instead of adding the one that you have maybe diluted?
Yes, you can. Yeah, but you'll need more coconuts for that. So,
Okay.
and you can also pass me the salt.
Okay. So salt is introduced quite early.
Yeah, because we want the mushroom to have some salt. So,
And also for soaking, I guess.
yeah.
Because if you add it too late in the day, it may not quite taste as much. Which spoon would you like to have?
Give me the 1/4 teaspoon.
So a 1/4 teaspoon. All right.
So I'll add...
The mushroom smell, if you love mushroom like I do, I'm already smelling it. Yeah. It's beautiful aroma.
Thank you. So we'll just
and I
start.
understand why you put a little, because mushroom has its own, I'm saying it's more than a tablespoon already.
Exactly, mushroom has its own water, so
So that's why you don't put in too much.
too much, yeah, just a little.
Okay, good. I'm thinking if you have dry mushroom, what will happen? Would you follow the same procedure? I saw a sample here of dried mushroom. Like if you have this at home and you're just thinking, how do I prepare this? You can easily find them in up country, especially in this country, Kenya.
Yeah.
They're really everywhere and they taste so good.
Yeah.
What happens when you have these ones? How will you prepare? Is there any variation?
Well, yes, because they are dry, you'll have to soak them. So then after you've done soaking them, you use them as the normal one.
So you'll just follow the same
Exactly,
procedure.
after soaking, you use the same procedure.
You need to try this. Usually very tasty. Thank you.
So I think we can cover this and let it cook.
Okay. And also sometimes you find that there's some mushrooms that are not very, very healthy.
Yes.
What would you have to say about that?
Okay, do you mean like poisonous mushrooms?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yes, I think this would probably be a major concern for people who like collecting mushrooms. So you really need to be careful. You never know whether it's a safe one for you to eat or not. So you really need to check and be careful where you get your mushroom from.
Where you get, so source is important.
Yes.
And if you're picking them, then you have to be careful which ones you're actually picking.
Yes.
And with time you will learn to know which ones are the good ones and which ones are not safe.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Very nice. Good.
So we'll give this like maybe 2 more minutes and we add the other ingredients.
Okay. I wanted to understand why you particularly picked on leek instead of just any regular onion.
Well, mostly I'd say leek because I like the color. So yeah, mostly that.
And what more I also know about leek, the taste is really good.
Yeah, it also tastes really nice.
And you want to think of somebody somebody who has mental health issues, they would like to consider always having onion, you know, in different flavors added to their
Yes.
food, to just give it that good taste, because you want your food to taste really
Nice, that's right. So you'll kindly pass me the garlic.
okay. So you have some garlic. How much of this?
These are 6 cloves of garlic,
Oh,
small
6?
ones.
Small ones?
Small ones.
Uh-huh.
So we have pounded them.
Okay.
So we'll need to stir this.
So you wait until all the moisture is gone,
Yes.
and that's why the salt was added in at the beginning.
exactly.
Also for the
Do you mind
flavor to
stirring this
soak
for
in?
me?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Nice.
Then we add the garlic.
Do you want this? Ooh, this is so nice.
And then at this point, you want to reduce the heat.
Mushroom is very delicious. And can this be served to older people, children?
Yes, it can.
Is there
because
choice on who can be given and who cannot?
it's a very friendly food, and no one would particularly have an issue with it. This is ginger.
Okay. How
We'll
much of
put
ginger?
Half a teaspoon of ginger, the powder.
I've noticed you've used the powder. You didn't want to use the fresh one. Any particular reason why?
No particular reason.
So any would
Any
work.
would work, yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
Okay, so you can use
Yeah.
whichever variety that you have at home. Okay, good.
And then after that, pass me the onions and the leek.
Okay, so I give you first. Let me put this away. So which one goes in first?
The onions.
The onion. This is white onion.
Yes, it's the white onion.
Why white, not the usual
The
red
usual red one. The reason why we want to use the white is because we want to kind of make the soup look white. So white onion. The purple one would give it a different,
colour.
interesting color. Yeah.
If you want to find this recipe, you know where to go. Go to our website, www.lisheleo.com. Go to Lishe Deli, download the recipe, try it at home, share it with others, and then you will know that this can be done by anybody. It doesn't matter. You don't need to have gone to a chef school to learn how to do this. Crystal is doing this and she just loves to do so. Yes, always try that.
So the leek.
Okay, so now we add the leek.
So this is a cup of chopped leek. So I'm sure you remember from previous episodes that we have explained that when we say a cup, we mean a third of the nutrition cup, the measuring cup.
Yes.
Yeah.
This a third. Maybe I should just show it. In case you're joining us for the first time, there is always that nutrition cup, which is different. It's different from the usual cups that we have at home. So you can invest in making sure you have the right cups. This is a third a cup. And these are also available in our local stores. There is a quarter cup. There is half a cup. And then, of course, the full cup. The full cup is 250 ml. It makes it easy when you're doing your different food preparations. So
It does. So we'll wait for like 2 minutes and then we'll be ready to blend it.
Ah, yes. And then we will have our soup.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I'm thinking one other thing. Can I do an alternative if I don't have mushroom? What can I replace it if I'm just doing a soup like this?
If you can't find mushroom, you can also use the black-eyed pea.
Ah.
It's rich in folate, so that will help your brain, or you can use the chickpea. So
Yes.
if mushrooms are not available, you can also use the black-eyed pea or the chickpeas.
Because you're targeting the folate.
The folate,
the
exactly.
B complexes, the vitamin Bs. Ah, nice.
So we are actually ready to blend this.
All right.
So we'll switch off the heat. Then we'll put it in the blender. Can you put this for me there?
I could help you, Maureen.
Definitely.
Yes.
So I'll do this.
Okay. So, how much of liquid will we need to add? This looks so nice. I could actually eat it that way.
You can,
Yeah.
but because this is a soup, we'll just add 1.5 to 2 cups, depending on how
On
it
how
looks.
much we want to make and the thickness.
Yeah, and the thickness.
And this can be a good soup for a starter, evening meal.
Yeah, especially in the evening when you don't want to eat a lot of food, it's
Yeah.
a good idea. So for our liquid, we are going to add the coconut milk.
Ah, so we'll use this. Okay. Do you use cold milk?
Measuring cup. No, this is warm, but you can heat it. You can make it hot if you'd
Okay.
like to.
You can make it hot.
So this is 1 cup. 1 cup. So okay, that's enough. And then the half cup. Help me, the half cup.
So I can pour in for you the half cup.
No, we'll add a half cup of warm water.
Ah, okay. It's not the milk you're adding.
It's the water.
Ah, all right. And this milk is hot. The water is hot. Which is which?
The water is hot, the milk is warm.
Ah, the milk is warm. The water is hot.
So then we'll just blend it. Okay, so this is ready.
It looks thick.
It is. So this is ready.
Let me give you a bowl.
A bowl, yeah.
Okay, there you are. So, do I put it here?
Yes.
Okay.
And also you can give us the bowls where we're going to eat it from.
All right, it's right here.
Okay, so we'll just pour it into the bowl. And
It's a thick soup.
It
It's a very
is.
nice one. And it must be very filling.
It is. And especially in the evening,
Yes.
it would be a really good idea.
Yeah, or as a starter as well.
Yeah,
You said
yeah,
it can
yeah.
be part of our starter meals. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So we wash this layer.
So, ready to serve.
Ah, it's time to sample. It's that time when we get to enjoy. Wow. This is beautiful. It just looks amazing already. So yes,
Okay,
have a spoon right there.
thank you.
Let's try this. Ooh, it looks so thick already.
And it smells so good.
You've got to come and taste this. It's amazing. I love this soup. Woo! Thank you, Crystal.
I love it too. It's really nice.
Viewers, you need to try this. It's beautiful. It's so tasty. I'm just enjoying it. And you can't miss to try this at home. So go to our Twitter handle at hope_Kenya. Check this out. And also, you can follow up, ask your questions, try it, and check it on our Facebook and the YouTube channel, Hope Kenya channels. There you will find all that we have, and you will be so amazed. Thank you, Crystal. I love this soup. It's so yummy.
It's so good. What?
It's tasty. It's very yummy. I can imagine if you're having it for dinner or for breakfast, you just want to eat it
so
and eat it away. Very yummy. Bye-bye from us.